Okay, I want to throw this video together here to show you how to swap out a turn signal switch in a 2014 Jeep Wrangler. Didn't really see any other videos online about how to do this, and if you're like me, you like to at least know what you're getting into. Fortunately, this install is really simple. Shouldn't take you more than about 15-20 minutes. Alright, so I want to give you a quick rundown of what this switch is actually doing, the problem that I'm having. If I turn this switch so that my interior lights are supposed to be on, I'm going to turn my camera back here and just show you. You can see the dome light and there's nothing on. However, if I take the switch here and I just jiggle it like this, right? Flip back here and show you. So you can see that light's just kind of coming on whenever it really wants to. There's really no rhyme or reason which way I can move that switch where the light will actually stay on. But once I do get it on, I can hold the switch in place and it will stay. That's one symptom there. Alright, so I want to show you the second problem I'm having here, and that's when I turn the headlights on. Okay, so headlights are on. And if I move the dimmer switch to its lowest setting, okay, you see the dash lights are as dim as they can be. If I just move this switch around, I'm not really clicking it like as if I were to turn on the turn signal or anything like that. It's just a slight bump this way or that way. You'll see that those lights flash to their highest setting and then back to the lowest setting where I actually do have that switch dialed into. So what that will do while I'm driving is if I flip the turn signal on, the dash lights will come on bright. Once it goes back to its neutral position, they go back to their dim setting where I have them set. Okay, real quick, we're going to go over the short list of tools that you need to swap out this switch. First is a 10mm wrench that will be used just to disconnect your battery. Next is a T20 Torx bit with some sort of long extension. There's some recessed holes for two of the screws that you'll need that little bit extra length to get up there and grab those screws. Last is your regular Phillips head screwdriver. That's it. Just as a little safety precaution, anytime we're working on something electrical on the Jeep, it's probably a good idea to undo the positive terminal of the battery. That way you don't run any risk of shorting something out or frying yourself. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to come up under the dash here. This, just for reference here, this is my steering wheel, and this is the bottom cover. We need to get this cover off. So you're going to use a T20 Torx driver, and we can start by just loosening these screws here. Help if I turned it the right way. Okay, there's one, and there's actually two more. So there's one right here. It's a recessed hole. You're going to need something, you're going to need a tool that's got a little bit of length to it. And there's also one right here on this side. There's a side screw. It's black. And I'm just going to throw it on the floor. Okay, one of the other things that might make this a little easier is if you remove this front panel here, and this is just very simply clipped in with some interior body clips. So all you got to do is just put your hand behind here, just use a little bit of force to unclip those, and you unclip that on both sides like that, and that whole cover will come off and just give you a little more access to the mechanics underneath there. What we're going to do is we're just going to separate this piece here, the shroud that's around the steering wheel. So I'll move the camera a little closer here and just show you. This line right here is the separation point where those two pieces come apart. So let me just set the camera back down here. I found it actually helps if you pull this steering wheel adjustment lever down, gets that out of the way for you, and then you can just pull that down. Alright, well, so we'll do the same thing on the other side here. Just sort of reaching up and pulling those two pieces apart. Okay, and then the last part we want to do as far as the shrouds go is just push that steering wheel all the way down, grab that top shroud and get that guy out of the way. Okay, so next up we gotta remove the only screw that holds this turn signal switch in, and that would be right here. So you're gonna take your Phillips head screwdriver and just give that a few twists and undo that screw. Okay, so we're gonna have a look at our new switch here. You can imagine that the steering wheel is right here, and wanted to show you this real quick so you know what connections to remove. There's really only two sets of wires that go into this switch. First is right here, okay? And if I'm looking at the back of the switch, there is, I'll just turn it around this way, there is a connection right here as well. So you want to unplug those, and then your switch will be free to pull out of the steering column. Okay, now that I've got my cables unplugged and the screw undone, I can take out that old switch, and I'm going to be certain that I don't mix it up with the new one. Installation of that new switch is just as easy as plugging in your two cables, the yellow one up top and the white connector in the back. Now just be sure that you can see that that cable is run behind this plastic piece here. I'm trying to get my light on there. That cable is run behind this plastic piece, just to tuck that wire up where it needs to go. Okay, and then we're going to put our retaining screw back in. Okay, and then the last step is just putting it all back together. We'll get our shrouds, upper and lower, for the steering column. So we'll push down on the steering wheel again. Sit that down right on there. Make sure everything lines up and it looks good. And then feed this through here. I'm lining up the ignition key side first, snapping that together, and then worrying about this side. Seems to help get everything lined up a little better. Okay, and you'll know it's together when it all clicks. Set that lock back in place. We'll grab our 3 screws underneath. Then we'll just take our beautification module and pop that back into place, and that should be all set. Alright, we'll reconnect our battery and try it out. Okay, let's hop in here and see how our new switch works. So first things first, we're going to try the dome light. Pushing that all the way up, and we have a dome light. on and off. All right, next thing we'll check is the dash lights. So I'm gonna flip those on. Okay, I'm gonna dial those dash lights down the whole way. Move that around. No issue there. Turn signal on, turn signal off. Looks good. High beams work. Fogs work. Low beams work by themselves. Okay, that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching and hope you learned something.